Hey, what's going on, guys? Luke here for today's video. A very exciting one. As you can tell, I'm a Bulldog supporter. Not necessarily a signing for the Bulldogs, but it could be a great indication that one is about to happen. Stephan Crichton has rejected an offer from the Penrith Panthers, and the Panthers themselves have come out and they've put like a big press release, a little announcement saying that he will not be at the club ongoing apart from 2023. So he'll finish up with this season and then he'll be moving on. So all the talk as of late has been the fact that Stephan Crichton has signed with the Bulldogs. It's just yet to be announced. With this coming out, it is very, very likely. You look at all the other clubs that he could possibly go to. There's not a lot of clubs you can actually look at and be like, Stephan Crichton is a great fit for them. A lot of the other teams that always get mentioned when there's signings it's always like your Tigers and those sort of sides. Whereas like Tigers, they just signed Charlie Staines from the Panthers. They've got Dane Laurie there. Fullback's not really somewhere they need, and all of the talk is that Stephan Crichton wants to play fullback. Bulldogs have Jake Averillo, a makeshift fullback there. As a Bulldog supporter, I'm actually kind of keen to see how Averillo goes with a preseason at fullback, but I don't know if that's something that a lot of other Bulldogs fans are excited about or are even sort of thinking about him long term. I mean, it wasn't so long ago that I remember a young Benny Barber came through the ranks and was playing 5'8", was coming off the bench, he was getting shifted around all other positions, played wing off the bench, but his position was fullback, and then he had a crack in the first season. He was okay, he was alright, but the second season, he won a Dally M. So he wouldn't be the first player to have had a full preseason and sort of, come to terms with first grade in terms of being a first grade fullback. Seen plenty of players who have taken a little time to adapt to the fullback position, and even Stephan Crichton himself doesn't play fullback. And when he has actually played fullback for the Panthers, I'll be honest, he's not someone who I looked at and I was like, damn, he's going to be a great fullback. So although there is a lot of excitement over Stephan Crichton signing, as a Bulldog supporter, like we've signed players in the past to come and play fullback. So like realistically, the last great fullback we had was Ben Barber. I just mentioned him. He was the last great fullback. In the meantime, we've had Sam Perrott, a winger, play fullback, and we made a grand final with him, but he was a winger playing fullback. We then had Brett Morris come across and play fullback, so another winger playing fullback. Then we had Will Hopewadi move from the centres to fullback. Once again, another guy is not a natural fullback. And then we had like Nick Meaney, who I feel like Nick Meaney is like a natural fullback, but we wouldn't actually give him the go. We wouldn't give him a go at fullback. It only was really in like the last little bit of his career at the Bulldogs that he actually got a go at fullback, and he actually looked half decent. But we had Matt Duffy there, who was an out-and-out fullback who didn't really work, but he was kind of a last-minute Hail Mary sort of signing. And then obviously Averillo's been moved to fullback as well. Corey Allen was another one who sort of made his name on the wing for the Rabbitohs, and I know he did play for Queensland, and he did actually play in a grand final for the Rabbitohs at fullback, but he wasn't the first choice. So we have had a couple fullbacks as of late, but no out-and-out stars. And Stephan Crichton is a star, but like I said, when I watched him play fullback, Penrith were winning, but they weren't winning because he was playing fullback or playing well. I feel like a lot of the talk was, Stephan Crichton, like he wants to play fullback, but he's not really doing a hell of a lot. And then Dylan Edwards obviously came in. I'm not going to say like long term Stephan Crichton won't work as a fullback, but when you look at some of the other examples right now of centres moving to fullback, which seem to be a bit of a common trend these days, you got Joey Manu, who plays centre week in, week out for the Roosters, but the big talk is he can play fullback. If Tedesco goes down, he shifts to fullback. He did it for New Zealand. He's the New Zealand fullback, but he's not the first choice fullback for his own club, which sounds crazy. But you got Joey Manu, who's done it. Latrell obviously done it as well. And Latrell, I believe, was like the same age when he's sort of transitioning into the fullback role. And we've seen Stephan Crichton play little bit parts at fullback, but he was the second choice fullback for the Panthers this year. It wasn't Charlie Staines or anyone like that. Even the Fijian fellow, I forget his name, but he'll probably feature at some point this year. But Stephan Crichton seems to be the backup fullback for Penrith. He's just not the first choice, and that's what he wants to be. And I believe they've offered him a pretty decent contract from what they've come out and said. But look, the Bulldogs seem to have a fair bit of money. Josh Jackson's retirement and such. Corey Allen leaving on big money. I feel like people don't realise, like the Bulldogs, we're losing a guy like Corey Allen, and you would think, geez, like he's not really that good. But when we signed him, he just played for Queensland, just played in the grand final. Was looking for an opportunity. He was an Australian schoolboys player, highly touted. We signed him for overs, and I remember doing a video talking about Corey Allen, and I was not excited for his signing because I knew that we'd signed him for a fairly decent contract, and now he's moved on to the Roosters, and he'll probably do quite well for the Roosters. He's probably one of those players who benefits from being in a great side. But the Bulldogs salary cap is something that I feel like will probably get talked about this season and the next coming seasons as well. As like, how can they afford to sign, Burton just re-signed? How can they afford to sign Kikau, Reid Marnie, maybe even Stephan Crichton, possibly, hopefully, fingers crossed. How can you sign all those guys? But, you look, Aaron Schopp just left. We've got a lot of youngsters coming through, your Alamonis and all those sort of guys, your Skeltons, guys are looking for opportunities. Even like your Karaz, he wasn't even in the top 30, and now, obviously, he's in the top 30. As much as there is a lot of guys who are on big money, there's also a lot of guys who aren't on big money, or the ones who are on big money, guys who probably shouldn't be and are going to be offloaded. Kind of looking at maybe guys like your Kyle Flanagans and such, like when he signed, I'm not sure what he would be on, but when he signed, he definitely didn't have the rep that he has right now. Right now, he's kind of got the reputation as a guy who's, maybe lucky to be playing first grade. Back when we signed him, he was a guy who was like, can't believe the Roosters letting him go. Typical Roosters have the next big thing, and they're kept, like, getting rid of him after one season. And I don't know, I think that's definitely sort of worked in the favour of the Roosters with Sam Walker coming through. But like the Bulldogs signing Stephan Crichton, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that there is a lot of salary cap space. As much as what people want to say, you got this player, you got this player, you got this player. If you go through like your 1 to 17, you look at some sides and they've got bloody internationals and rep players coming off the bench. Look at the Bulldogs, definitely not the case. Yes, we've got a guy like Josh Addo-Carr, who's probably one of the highest paid wingers in the whole comp. But for every Addo-Carr, there's your Karaz, who wasn't even in the top 30 last year, who's become a mainstay of the Bulldog side. So that's kind of a point in that one, in the sense that Stephan Crichton coming across, maybe not so much a big salary cap problem like there is a bit of talk of. And even like the talk of Mitchell Moses, where's he going to end up? I personally believe now that he's going to stay at the Eels, but the talk, like I said at the start of the video, whenever there's like a high profile player, like a Stephan Crichton, like a Mitchell Moses, there's like two sides that seem to get tossed up every single time, and that's the West Tigers, and that's the Canterbury-Bankstown Bulldogs. And with Stephan Crichton, I'm hoping it's on the money, because I do want to see him come across. End of the day, even if he doesn't work out as a world-class fullback, he's still probably going to be an upgrade on what we've had for the last, 10 years? Even right now, like with the side that we've got right now, all we need is just someone solid, someone who's good under the high ball. And Averillo has shown he's quite silky with the ball, but just the high ball, he seemed to struggle. But he is a guy who has been playing in the halves for the last couple of seasons, then got shifted to fullback just midway through the season because we kind of needed someone. So look, I am keen to see how Averillo goes for the rest of the season, but I feel like the big part of this video I've talked about is Stephan Crichton signing with the Bulldogs. And the thing that I didn't want to sort of guarantee is that he is signing with the Bulldogs, because it's not like the Bulldogs come out and have announced it, which they've done in the past. I mean, Bulldogs seem to be the team that is signing all the Panthers guys. And in the last couple of seasons, we've signed a few Panthers players, but it's always been the rejects, apart from Matt Burton. Even when we signed him, he was a reserve grade player. But this is, we just got Kikau, just signed Reid Marnie from the Eels. Now Stephan Crichton coming across, that would be big indication of big things for the Bulldogs moving forward. Even Addo-Carr as well, I forgot to mention him. But it's just some high-profile signings that we haven't had in a long time. So as a Bulldog supporter, naturally my thought process is like, how exciting, great news, I'm wearing the Bulldogs hat. I'm a Bulldog supporter. I'm not shy about saying that. But in terms of like Penrith moving forward, he is one of the players who, yes, he is great. And I mean, realistically, in terms of grand finals and such, he's been a grand final winner. Like in terms of whether he plays or whether he doesn't play, this isn't a great case of like a Momorowski or someone who, he was there when they won a premiership, but he's not why they won a premiership. Even Burton to an extent, like he got Dally M Centre of the Year, but like he was replaceable, obviously, because they did replace him. And, we had guys like your Momorowskis who've gone to the Roosters and they haven't really done that well. But like, by no means am I comparing Crichton to Momorowski, but I'm just saying in terms of Penrith finding players to replace some of their stars. And like I said, Momorowski wasn't a star, and they're probably going to do the same thing. Kikau's leaving, they just brought Garner over. Penrith have the ability to just bring a player into the system. It's kind of feeling like it's starting to become sort of Storm-like, where like one player leaves and you go, geez, they're playing for New South Wales. Like Crichton's played for New South Wales, he's won premierships. great player, super young. How do you replace him? Then all of a sudden they replace him with another guy who, you know, maybe might not be as good, but he's still serviceable for a side that is so strong around them. Now, I do personally think Penrith are going to have a little bit of a downfall next couple of seasons, and that's just how the salary cap works. It's just how the NRL works. It is very rare that teams stay at the top year after year, and I know it's kind of become a thing where the Storm have been able to do it, and even as of late, Penrith have been, they've been in the last 3 grand finals, and, you know, possibly could be there this year as well. The team isn't drastically different. They've got the same spine for the most part, except this year. They lose Addo-Carr. Mitch Kenny comes in, but I mean, like, he'd been starting in some of the finals games as well. Carousel, obviously, in my opinion, if he's not the best hooker, he's definitely up there. Obviously, there's going to be talk about Harry Grant and Damien Cooks and such, but he is right up there. But just in terms of Penrith, like, Stephan Crichton is leaving because he couldn't get the fullback spot, because Dylan Edwards is playing amazing, and probably at one point, I would have sat here and said Stephan Crichton should be playing the fullback position over Edwards. Like, maybe not right now, but eventually he would have taken over. I feel like he's kind of in a similar spot now, kind of similar to your Joey Manus, where, and even like Latrell, where they want to play fullback, they want to get the fullback money, but the fullback position just isn't available at the club. Dylan Edwards is playing so good. How can you justify moving on Dylan Edwards? He's someone who probably isn't going to get as much money as what Stephan Crichton is, even though Crichton probably is less important to the side. Like, if you're actually a Penrith player, he's probably less important to the side. Great strike weapon, but he's not someone who's probably that important to them, as we've seen. But he is someone that I think that they can lose and they can still move on. So it is a game for the Bulldogs, and I feel like you'd much rather lose a Crichton than you lose like a Jerome Luai or a Nathan Cleary or maybe even a Dylan Edwards or something. Like, they've already just lost Coruscant, they've lost Kikau. They're going to lose Stephan Crichton. Maybe like Crichton goes and then that like splits up like your Brian To'os and such, and, you know, some of those Samoan lads like your Jerome Luais who've stayed, maybe they start to look elsewhere. I know Luai just re-signed, but, you know, that little connection that they had, maybe they start to lose that little bit of loyalty because, you know, now Crichton's gone, you know, one of the boys is gone, I don't know. But just long-term, looking through it, if there's a position that is replaceable in the NRL, definitely the centre position. It's not a very important position these days. Like, you can't really name too many elite ones, and if they are elite, they end up moving into another position, like Stephan Crichton's doing right now. So, look, I think if the Bulldogs end up landing him, if any team ends up landing him, I think it's a great signing. There's a little bit of worry, personally, him moving to the fullback role, because it's not like an out-and-out like natural progression. Like, I feel like a Latrell, who came into first grade playing fullback, kind of figured at some point he probably was going to play fullback. Even just the comparisons, Greg Inglis, like, we figured he's going to end up at fullback at some point. Joey Manu has shown his elite, his elite skills at fullback time after time. Whereas Stephan Crichton, when he's played fullback, he just kind of looked like he's looked alright. Is he better than what the Bulldogs got right now? Probably. But he's kind of just looked alright in a team that has been tallying up sides for years. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing or what that is, but that's just my thoughts on the situation. I'm excited as a Bulldog supporter. Penrith, I feel like, yeah, it is disappointing, but being the team that you are, you're going to lose players. And the Fijian dude, his name escapes me, but he looks quite good in terms of being able to find backs that can just slot in positions. They just seem to be able to do it. They can find a guy from another side who's probably underrated, and they can chuck him in, and he'll probably do a job for you. Like a Momorowski. He's someone who, like, is a borderline first grader, but when he played at Panthers, we're talking about him being the best defensive centre in the comp. Then all of a sudden he goes to Roosters, and, like, this is the Roosters. Like, the Roosters usually take these players like a Corey Allen, and I'm talking about him. Oh yeah, he's probably going to be great, but Momorowski, I think, has looked better in first grade than Corey Allen, and yet Momorowski can't even make the Roosters side. But anyways, I'm sort of getting on a tangent here. I'm going to end the video, like I said, going on a tangent, ranting a little bit, sort of just talking randomly. But guys, if you happen to enjoy that video, make sure you go ahead and smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Also, make sure to use the notification bell. Don't rely on the sub boxes. Use the notification bell and never miss any of my videos, especially now that I'm uploading again. It's been a little while since I've been uploading consistently, but I'm going to be trying to get back there. It is a new year, new me, new Luke, hopefully, something along the lines of that. But go ahead and subscribe, notification bell, that sort of stuff. Follow me on social media. It's on the screen right now. It's Mr. Luke and YT for the most part. My Facebook's Mr. Luke, but everything else, including Snapchat, including TikTok, is Mr. Luke and YT. Give me a follow, give me an ad. And guys, that's where I'm going to wrap things up here. Hopefully, I'm doing another video confirming the sign of Stephan Crichton, but probably more realistically, doing a video in Rugby League Live for. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you some next one. See yous.